Hey everybody, and welcome to the Moonlighters edition of PAX at Home. Recall that PAX at Home is a series that I have devised to give you the booth experience for these games that I'm excited about seeing at PAX Prime 2013 without actually having you to shell out the hundreds and thousands of dollars on potential travel and accommodation. So this is the Moonlighters. It's showing in the Indie Mega booth, and I'm hesitating to click on the screen here because the game's going to start right away, and there's some voice acting work and presentation. The presentation of this game is something you should definitely pay attention to. It's one of the strongest aspects of the demo that I've played so far. So what is the Moonlighters, just before we get started? It is an action RPG slash kind of an adventure game. The developers have described it kind of as Monkey Island meets The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Obviously, a pretty heady and, critically acclaimed comparison there, and I'll have to take their word for it because I've never actually played Monkey Island for myself, which I know is sacrilege. But in any case, the other important part beyond just the genre is the aesthetic and the story. This is set in, like, 1960s Hollywood, right after, I guess maybe like mid to late 1950s, right after the original Hollywood idols have kind of found themselves pushed to the wayside as they've gotten older, and the younger kids have started, getting into this old rock and roll stuff, which is pushing them out of the limelight. So basically, these guys are actors in a film company during the day, but at night they are criminals to make money to finance their projects to hopefully get themselves back to the position of influence they once held in Hollywood. Without further ado, let's click on the game here so we actually get started.
Let me tell you something, friend. A peculiar thing happens to a man when he achieves greatness in his career. When he stops envying the world, it starts envying him instead. With every new Cadillac he buys, and each first-class seat he rides on his way from nowhere to somewhere, he leaves behind some of the youthful ambition that got him there. Ounce by ounce, he pours it out, until the only thing left in his glass is fear. A paranoid survey of all the ways he could lose everything he's got. It is a tragic change, that dripping away of youth, but an important one. Because, Pally, he's right to fear the fall. It happened to me. Hell, it happened to all my friends at the same time. What came next, whether I'd leave my glass empty or fill it back up with that old ambition, well, that's the thing we're here to talk about, isn't it?
Alright, so that should be the lead-in, and hopefully at this point you understand that I was not kidding when I was saying that the presentation and voice acting is something that you should definitely pay attention to. I don't know how much voice work is actually going to be in the final game itself, but I really like the writing in this game in general, and especially that introductory lead-up. There's a real Tom Waitsy feel to it, like a boozy, cigarette smoke-filled version of Hollywood that might not exist anymore, at least not in the public eye. So these are our characters here. We've got Sid, who is, I'm just trying to think, because they're all kind of archetypical. Obviously, like, we have one lady there who is, like, the bombshell, and then we have the mastermind of the whole operation. The bald guy is kind of like our agile, he's gonna get stuff done for us. The woman in the green dress is our director, and maybe Sid is the muscle. So he says, "Now, Mr. Boss Man, I know you didn't call us over here this unholy morning hour to serenade us. I'm probably gonna skip by a lot of the dialogue, but I will give you the general gist of it, because otherwise we'd be spending 20 minutes here just reading these prompts. I mean, keep in mind that this is an adventure game. You're gonna be doing a lot of reading over the course of the entire thing, and I know a lot of people are into that, but we're gonna skip over it to a certain extent. It's worth noting, by the way, that, watching this doesn't necessarily spoil anything for the Moonlighters. This is a standalone. I'm trying to, make myself seem a little bit more legitimate by using the industry term. Is this a vertical slice, one might say, of the Moonlighters? This is a standalone demo that is not actually going to be indicative. Well, it's going to be indicative, but it's not going to take away from any of the content in the main game. It's something developed exclusively to show at this convention, and maybe, I know they showed it at E3 earlier this year. Alright, so we're Julian. This is the guy that we're playing. It's kind of like this lanky, English butler-looking dude here, but you heard his voice and you know that that is not what he is. So, basically the story of what's going on right now, there is a Las Vegas Film Festival that is happening, and we're gonna make a movie. Our whole MO here, our whole aim, is to create a movie essentially overnight that we can sneak into the Las Vegas Film Festival, and we'll be able to use that movie to vault us back into superstardom. And this guy's like, that's a swell idea, but do you mean the same festival that ends tomorrow? Obviously, this is a game that has kind of an absurd bend to it, for sure, making a major motion picture in a single night, but it's self-aware of that, too, as you'll see. So again, I'm skipping through this to a certain extent. Now, the way that the game is set up, as I understand it, is that it's going to be released episodically, and each episode is going to deal with one specific heist. So it's going to be kind of like a Walking Dead style, and the developers have said that each episode will be about 1 to 2 hours in length. So again, kind of similar, I guess, to The Walking Dead as well. This demo itself is only about 15 to 20 minutes long. We might not even play through the entire thing, but here is our setup here. We're going to enter and win a film festival that ends tomorrow. We have no film. Sounds like just the manner of illusion I enjoy. So this guy is a magician. I almost didn't see him down there in the bottom left of the frame.
Now listen up, gang, and listen good.
I will, of course, be quiet.
If we're going to win this festival, Roger Hillcrest is our man. The grand juror from the Las Vegas Film Commission. He may not be the only vote on the festival jury, but he's the only one that counts. There are a dozen high-profile parties tonight across Vegas, and we need to find them.
Alright, so basically the setup for this mission, Roger Hillcrest is the Roger Ebert, I suppose, of movie criticism at this fictional time where the game takes place, in this fictional, alternate history where the game takes place. We're going to find him, influence him, figure out what kind of movies he likes, and then make a movie that is like the one that he is requesting. So, first things first, we have to find out what party that he is going to be at, and once we get there, we're going to kind of bribe him with drinks.
That you can run like one of them.
Alright, so I'm this paperboy here, basically, but I'm actually a movie producer. Sorry, I got the setup wrong. We're going to be at the party, we're going to figure out what party Hillcrest is going to be at, and then we're going to talk to him. But so this is going to show off kind of the different style of each part of the heist mission. Might be one way to say it. I also understand that in the final version of the game, each character, their archetype is going to have actual attributes and skills that is going to play into things, and you can also kind of give people, it's like an RPG system where you have like a class as well as a race. So your race might be magician, but your class could be maybe you're the dude with the grappling hook, or maybe you're the dude with the sunglasses that allows you to see hidden things in the environment. Anyway, hopefully that makes any sense at all. Basically, there's like a degree of customization before each heist that will allow you to pick and choose the roles that you want each of the people on your team to fill. So, we are a producer here. We gotta make these people think that we are a real producer and not just a phony, which obviously we are, a big fat phony. The producer says, "Who are you?" I'll tell you, Mr. Nobody, scram, pal.
More glory days and buy them a drink. Hell, buy them a lot. We'll have to keep the scotch flowing.
And what we're gonna do here is literally throw bundles of cash at people, and as they get happier and happier, then people will start to think like, hey, this guy's actually kind of a cool cat. He's got all the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, and all other such period-specific dialogue. I had this guy wrong. He truly is a movie producer of the highest caliber.
You should be able to get Hillcrest's whereabouts out of them.
Alright, so we got all the dames dancing. Their legs are flying around like they're doing the Poxatuni shuffle. You'll find that my films are impressive as the bar tab. Naturally, say we're all going to a big bash tonight. Why don't you join us? I'm afraid I can't, gentlemen. I'm joining my friend, Mr. Hillcrest, at an event this evening. Why, so are we. What a coincidence. Say, do you recall where the party's being held? I've lost track of my soiree schedule. It's at the Dragon Room, the hottest club in Vegas. So there we go. Step one, we figured it out.
Give them the address they need.
This is the 1950s way, the Rat Pack way of making it rain.
We'll need someone to make contact with him at the party.
So, we need somebody to talk to Hillcrest at a party. Obviously here, the game is doing its job to demonstrate what, specific skills and attributes each part of our heist committee has here. This is our damsel, who is obviously supposed to be a bombshell here. So, she's going to talk to Mr. Hillcrest, and we're going to have to deal with some dialogue trees here. So, it's kind of got like a Hunter S. Thompson vibe to him here. And the way we choose dialogue is by walking to one side, wherever the dialogue is, and picking it ourselves. So I'm your biggest fan. And we're going to gush over him a little bit, hopefully not literally, or the game would be running into trouble with the ESRB. Alright, so we've got him hooked. Mr. Hillcrest Morton wants to speak to you about the coal deal. Eileen, tell that knucklehead that he can hold for 5 minutes. He still owes me for that sand wedge. Perfect dialogue for a pompous villain. Alright, so what will we ask him about? Remember, our aim here is to figure out what kind of films he likes, because he's on the jury for the Las Vegas Film Festival. So we've got to, kind of reverse engineer his favorite kind of movie. So we'll go to great films. A man like you must know the secret to making a movie great. The secret is that it's so easy, a monkey can do it. All films should be great. All a great movie has to do is grab the audience attention, like with an opening joke. So obviously it's a very simplistic formula here that we're going to get. So it starts with an opening joke. Great movie has to pay off in the end with a happy ending. So we've got 2 elements of the story that we need here. And he says, no matter what kind of movie it is, a great film has to start with a joke and end with a joke. This is a fantastic critic. It's the same advice that I take when I pseudo-review video games. Okay, so what do we want to know? Last year's grand prize or this year's? Let's go with this year's grand prize. I was just thinking... Hey, I can't talk to you right now, Morton. Sorry, I'm a fan. You're not just a fan, you're the fan club president, takes a pride in your work. Well, I'll just leave you 2 alone then, wink wink. I think he's setting us up, kind of. Okay, so where were we? That yuck is more out of touch than Julian Bell. Who is us, if that makes no sense to you? Let me clarify. Alright, nice try, doll. Answering who would win this year's festival prize would land me in hot water. But I'll tell you what, it's got to be one with a doomed romance. So it's got to give good opening joke, a happy ending, and a doomed romance. Gotcha. It sounds really tonally consistent so far. And finally... do we have one more question? So we can use our sunglasses to see hidden conversation openings. So what about one last question? Okay. Who am I to turn down a damsel in distress? Just make it quick. What is your favorite scene? It's a tough question for any critic. I have to concur with the popular opinion on this one. The scene near the end of Le Kiss du Mort, where Contessa reveals she's Mick's lover and stabs him in the eye. Every movie should learn something with a shocking and terrifying conflict at the climax. So now that we've got this information from Hillcrest, we'll probably do, we got like 2 more little phases to this heist that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do the entire thing here because we could be here for a half hour. And I think this is a pretty good kind of proof of concept of what's going on with the game. But you'll see that things take kind of a weird turn because right now it's been adventure-y. In a second, it's going to become kind of platformish, as you'll see. So, Will says, toss me the keys, would you, boss? To save you some of the build-up here, basically, we don't have the actual keys to get inside, so we're going to have our agile dancer-type character here, this bald man, kind of climb his way up the building. So, we have some suction cups, and we're going to be able to use those to kind of Sam Fisher our way inside. So, we're just going to walk over to this, and then use our... shift key to get these suction cups out. I will admit that the, and once let's skip by the dialogue here a little bit. I will admit the climbing animation does look a little bit Team America-y. It's a little comical, but, you know, it kind of adds to the charm to a certain extent that they look like, marionettes or something climbing the building. There is voiceover work that I'm talking over here, but let's drop down. Oh, okay. And I believe we'll get some, like, jumping boots here as well. Shortly, at least. Obviously, we got to stay out of the way of the searchlight, which the game will tell me. So while we're kind of making our way up here, I know one question people are going to ask is, like, when is this game coming out? As far as I know, the planned release is 6 months roughly from now, which would put it at an early 2014 release, maybe in a January or a February or somewhere around Q1, I guess. And I don't know the distribution in terms of platforms for this. I don't know if there's a Greenlight page, but there will be relevant links in the video description. Moonlightersgame.com is where you can go to find out more information about the game specifically. So you must be the new fellow from maintenance, climbing up the side of the building. Yep. Welcome aboard. Took me years to figure out that spring boots are a big help navigating the vertical, so he's given us essentially the ability to jump here. So just by using the shift key, we can do like some wall jumping and then make our way actually into the building. Use Q and E to switch between your inventory, and then you can make this happen a little easier.
Nice to get back onto that old stage. We must have shot a dozen pictures in that box.
Oh, I think I can make this. There is a wall jump.
Evening events.
I just haven't... Hey! Okay, I've had some problems with this. The first time that I did this, it was really, really easy. Subsequent tries, there we go, have been a little bit more difficult. So we should be entering the building now, and then we'll film the movie, and that'll be the last aspect of the heist that we'll cover over the course of this video. So we'll see what our dude has to say here as I take another sip of my coffee. Alright, so we're going to open the door and let him in, and then we're going to have my favorite part of the heist over the course of the demo that is available for the PAX build anyway, which is actually filming the movie and kind of creating from the ground up this weird... that fits the weird criteria that the movie critic gave us, essentially. So, Julian says, hey, thank you. I think this is supposed to be a brief moment of sincerity from a man who is not always the most sincere.
Once we're in the studio, we'll shoot the movie. Jeannie here can direct, and the rest of us will star.
Hold it, you mean we're going to shoot an entire movie in one night without a script? It reminds me of, you know, 12th grade English class again. There's a lot of humor here that I'm skipping over, and I'm remiss for doing it. But anyway, this is the coolest part of the demo, in my opinion. So essentially, we're going to be playing as the Bombshell again, Jessica Rabbit type character here. And as it goes on, we're going to try to craft a movie that is an opening joke, happy ending, thrilling, shocking twist to the climax, as well as a doomed romance. So, here we go. We're going to start with the joke. So, we're falling in love in the kitchen with this guy here. What's a pretty girl like you doing in a kitchen like this? What should we say? It's a new club, or let's say it's my kitchen. Very funny. This is my kitchen, and you better tell me what you're doing here before I call the cops. Don't you remember? This is my kitchen, too. You take you're a bad roommate, or they sold us the same house? I like this. Don't tell me they sold us both the same house. This is beautiful. Yeah, Sid thinks so. Wait, the scene's over, right? I suppose it is now. Because you talked over it, you big doofus. I don't know any 50s knowledge or 50s dialect.
It's far too long, but it'll come back just like riding a bicycle.
Okay, so next the jury will be looking for some kind of tragic romance. Try utilizing Stanislavski's method to channel a dark childhood trauma. Okay, let's do it. Of course I'm familiar with Stanislavski's method. To think we'd meet again in the very kitchen where we fell in love. It seems so long ago. Our families keep us apart, or it was 20 years ago, or it was before the war. It was 20 years ago. That's because it was 20 years ago. Darling, you hardly look any older. I am immortal. No, probably we'll go with this is our last night here. I can barely believe this is our last night here before you go off to war. That's right, this is my last night before I ship out overseas. And our families keep us apart. And it was also before my father forbid us from seeing each other. Damn your father, Anita! He's such a nasty old oil baron, and I won't sell him the ranch. Obviously, like I said, game's self-aware and pretty funny as well. Damn your father, too. Let's run away. Ricardo, we'll never have to think of oil or barons again. Anita, we could never be safe together no matter how far we run. Then Ricardo, let's be damned together. Will says, that got me where it counts. Alright, and then I believe we have one or two more sections.
From his work as a magician.
We have a ray gun and some chocolate here, I think. Okay, so we just need a thrilling, terrifying twist like Hillcrest wanted. And here we go. Julian says, I never thought we'd make it back here, Anita. Oh, I did something wrong there. I didn't have time to say a line before Edgar showed up. At last I found you. Anita, look out. Tell him the truth, Anita. Tell him what he deserves to know. Choose a prop. You put the sunglasses. Okay, let's choose the heart. Ricardo, I'm actually in love with Ivan. You two-timing Jezebel, I'll stab you in the eye. Or we can go pick up the ray gun. Ricardo, I've been a secret agent from Mars all along, and I'm in love with Ivan, I guess. No, not you two. This ray gun will steal your brains, Ricardo, and then they'll be all mine. You don't still love me, Anita? Let's shoot Kirglor, because we need to make a happy ending. Sorry, Kirglor! Now the moon behemoth awakens from its slumber. Earth is doomed. This is a great movie. I would go see this. I think next we get to choose our title. So, hopefully, we are coming close to the end of this. I wish you could actually watch the movie yourself in real time on the way back. But anyway, we just need to close on a joke and we'll be through. Action. Okay, so he's going to say something, give us the punchline. We almost lost it all, my love, but we made it through. We did it together, or let's start anew. Okay, we did it together. We made it through together. To think all that time in the kitchen and we never opened the fridge. Oh, I opened it a while ago. I ate the pie that was in there. You ate the whole pie? It was shaving cream. Ba-dum-tsh. All right. Classic stuff. You can't go wrong with a pie joke. Yeah, it's the philosophy that Eugene Levy has built his whole career off of, or at least his late career. All right, so what should we call the movie? I think we should call it Forbidden Kitchen. That sounds like a great title for a movie. Snappy, I like it. Now if we're going to give the audience a proper catharsis, we have to carefully edit the shots together. That's the best part. We don't need any editing. That was all gold. Besides, the final showing's in half an hour. We wouldn't have time anyway. So this is where I'm going to kind of call cuts, again, with the timely and context-specific references here. On this PAX at Home pseudo Let's Look At of the Moonlighters. This is showing at PAX right now in the Indie Mega Booth, coming out in 6 months, so keep an eye out for the Moonlighters. I'm assuming that this is going to see a PC release because the controls are entirely based on PC right now. I can't speak for other platforms, but yeah, look forward to it coming out sometime in early 2014 in all likelihoods. I'll be checking this out at PAX, and check the links in the video description below for relevant social media and the game's website. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time.